Oklahoma Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Let's give a big round of applause to Sue and the Blue River Czechs who are playing the music for your dancing and listening pleasure. I would also at this time like to ask you that if you wish to talk or visit with someone, that you step out to the front entrance way as a courtesy to the inductees and the people around you. Once again this year, the Sokol Omaha Gym Club is selling the food and snacks in the kitchen. The proceeds will be used to offset the cost to participate in gymnastic competitions. They thank you for your support. The Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame next year will be on Sunday, September 7th, and the band will be Barefoot Becky and the Ivanhoe Dutchman for your dancing pleasure. The Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame was started on October 22nd, 1972, and has been held every year except 1975, 77, and 78. With this year's inductions, there will be 119 inductees, of which 75 are deceased and 44 are still with us. Would the past inductees who are in attendance today please come to the front of the stage to be recognized? Would you please all come up here? There's a whole lot of these gentlemen, and Marla had to leave, didn't she? Boy, Lonnie puts a gauntlet down. Yeah. Anyway, these past inductees, a lot of them have never met one another, and so that's why we had a little meeting in there in the office, and it was very enjoyable. It could have lasted about 5 hours, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway, as I call their names, would they please step out and give a signal as to who they are? 1981 inductee, Ron Natterny. 1989 inductee, Dean Hansen. 1991 inductee, Bob Blecka. 1993 inductee, Anton Pokorny. 1974 inductee, Jim Botnicek. I don't know where that guy came from. 1995 inductee, Paul Menoshek. 1997 inductee, Dean Fornoff. 1998 inductee, Norman Sudomka Jr. 1999 inductee, Gawain Dvorak. 2001 inductee, Elmer Nimitz. 2002 inductee, Glenn Kocha. 2004 inductee, Mark Vidladal. 2005 inductee, Alan Morovitz. And Edward Sonny Swoboda. 2006 inductee, Bob Stepanek. 2008 inductee, Ken Janik Jr. Dick Janik Jr. Bob Sagozda. 2009 inductee, Jerry Hosputka. and Dennis Pavlik. And Helmut Putler. 2010 inductee Jim Koska. 2011 inductee, is the only guy I know of. This guy's named twice up there on the plaque, Ron Natterday. 2012 inductee, Mr. Rich Forrell. Thank you, gentlemen. I hope you had a good time at our little party in the office. Sokol thanks you. To begin our inductions today, we always start with the deceased category. The late Joseph J. Cerveny was born on October 23rd, 1930, Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were Frank and Frances Cerveny. Joe's first wife was the late Helen Lindley Cerveny. He is survived by wife Elsie Sands Cerveny. Is Elsie here today? Elsie, would you please stand up? There she is. He is survived also by children, Linda Baker, Kathy Skillstad, Diane Rosner, and Daniel, who's here on the stage, and also Joe, who was unable to attend. Would the ladies please stand up? All the girls. There we are. Joe attended grade school in Omaha Public Schools and graduated from Omaha South High School in 1948. After graduating, he played semi-pro baseball, and as Danny put a little note there, in the Dodger organization, and for a few years, before starting a long career as an electrician. Growing up in South Omaha, Joe had a love for polka music. Even though he didn't play an instrument, he felt he could have an impact on the industry. In the mid-1960s, he started Czech Record Company and recorded his first band, the Eddie Janik Orchestra, which was recorded at the Sears Studio in Omaha. For the next approximately 10 years, Joe and his recording engineer, Ron Natterday, recorded several groups. That included Eddie Janik, Paulson's Dutchman, Old Timers, Dean Hansen, Ernie Kuchera, Omaha Czech Brass Band, Fez Fritchie, Adolf Nimitz, Elmer Scheid, John Czech and the Wisconsin Dutchman, Peter and Paul Windiger, Charlie Dworak, Frank Azuka, and also a tribute album to Jerry Muzzovitz. In the mid-1970s, Joe sold the business to Mustache Joe Spulliver. In the late 1980s, Joe got the urge again to start another polka business. This time it was called Czech Polka and Waltz Video Tape Production Company. The first recording was done right here at the Sokol Auditorium and featured the bands of Ernie Kuchera, Dean Hansen, and Frank Koschka and the Boys. Several bands released also videoed for the next few years. The Nebraska area bands were American Czech Brass Band, Leonard Beckwar, Vern Bielik, Bob Blecka, Tommy Bishop, Czechlanders, Al Grebenik, Frank Azuka, Jim Havorka, Howells Hotshots, Jeff Janda, Jolly Yanks, Jim Kuchera, Leo Lonnie, Vern Ludington, Ron Natterday, Mustache Joe, Omaha Czech Brass Band, Old Timers, Polka Kings, Dave Salmons, Kenny Shuda, Matt Sletke, Alan Valish, Mark Villadal, and Mark Karasik. Some of the national bands that were recorded: Carl Binovitz, Harry Zarnik and the Texas Dutchman, Cavandas Czech Band, Six-Pack Dutchman, Erwin Cease, Vrajils, Walter Ostanek, Dick Caddy, Joey Tomchik, Frankie Yankovic, Hank Heller, and Dwayne Malinowski. Joe still wasn't through promoting the music he loved, so in the 1980s or 90s, he and friend Jackie Gahn, who owned the Union Plaza Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, decided to put on a fest, polka fest. But this wasn't an ordinary fest. To get there was the fun part. It started in Cleveland, Ohio. You could get on the train and ride all the way to Las Vegas with a pickup stops along the way, and it was called none other than the Polka Train Festival. Joe received many recognitions and awards from various organizations acknowledging his contributions to the promotion of polka music and Czech heritage. Then in 1991, he was awarded an admiralship in the Nebraska Navy by Governor Ben Nelson. Joe passed away on September 25th, 2009. With that, Sonny, would you please induct into the Sokolamaha Polka Hall of Fame Joseph J. Cheverny for his contributions to polka music.
Award in recognition of your dad. All he did for polka music, promoting it over the years. I'm sure you're proud to receive that for him. And we'd like to thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, everybody. First of all, before I repeat pretty much what Jimmy just said, it's great to see a lot of the musicians that my dad introduced me to, and I still get a chance to play with on occasion, including Jimmy Botnicek, who on this stage Sunday, got to play with him for the first time in, what, 20 years? So we go back to the Roman days. And if you remember that, then that's how old you are. But just wanted to kind of go over a couple of things. First of all, on behalf of the Cerveny family, I'd like to thank the Soka Polka Hall of Fame and the past inductees who voted for this honor for our dad. He certainly would have enjoyed this honor, although we had plenty of ham in him, and enjoyed the recognition that came with producing polka records and videotapes. It really was mostly about the music that motivated him. He loved polka music to the extent that most of us kids didn't know there was any other kind of music until we were practically teenagers. I knew that he was a polka nut, but I wasn't so aware of the polka recording business until one day he asked me in his own inimitable way, he said, do you have any friends? And I said, yes. And he said, well, we need a couple of them over at the house on Saturday morning, have them there ready to go. That morning, a big semi-truck pulled up, and it took us the rest of the day to unload albums and 8-tracks, and we had to split them up not only by artist, but also, and this will, if you're old enough, you'll know about this, in mono and stereo. That's how long ago that was. But it took us forever. We filled up pretty much the entire 2-car garage, filled that up pretty much with just little aisles full of it. I started playing the organ about this time, which meant, of course, that I was going to take accordion lessons. One day I came home and the whole setup was there. The accordion, the lesson books, the Vitek Gelsenek polka music charts for accordion, and a band front, kind of like this with a for a music stand, And I was lucky enough to take lessons from Lambert Bartek and Dean Hansen. Where'd you go, Dean? There he is back there. Thanks. Everything I know about accordion I learned from you. So thank you very much. I actually got to play accordion with the Omaha Symphony. So that those couple lessons paid off. And a little side note, it was a concert and we had a rehearsal. It was just one song that I had to play, had a little 2-measure, little fill-in solo. And of course all the guys in the symphony know me from my other job, and it was, they gave me enough grief for walking in there with an accordion to a symphony orchestra, and we did the rehearsal, played through the song, I did my 2 measures, everything went fine. The conductor said, at the end of the song, he said, I can't believe I'm doing this, but when you get to that solo part, could you play the accordion a little louder? And of course, I got a lot of grief from the rest of the musicians there. The rest of the family started getting involved whether they wanted to or not. As they got older, and my dad and mom built a cabin at Lake Wakanda, south of Omaha. We would go down there for weeks at a time. During the summer and during the weekends, have entire bands from the Czech record label stay with us. Dad was kind of famous around the lake community because on most days, he would load whatever band was there onto the pontoon boat, tie the tuba to the railing so it wouldn't blow overboard, and circle the lake serenading everybody with polka music, whether they wanted it or not. So you see, he loved promoting polka music. After he sold Czech records to Mustache Joe Spellberg, I think he really missed the involvement in polka music. He told me that one day he was watching a commercially produced video of polka music. The video was of pretty poor quality, the sound wasn't that great, and it looked like it was shot from the back of the room with one camera, and he thought he could do better. The next thing you know, Czech Polka and Waltz Videotape Production Company was born. He contacted Greg Flom, a former producer for Channel 7 television, and got some of the bands that recorded for him at Czech Records, like Dean Hansen, Frank Kuska, and Ernie Kuchera, and came right down here to Sokol Hall with multiple cameras and Rudy Dvorak for his recording engineer, and off he went again. Dad produced close to 100 titles, recording in Omaha, Cleveland, Ohio, Ennis, Texas. There was a time when he did the Polka Train that Jim mentioned. He retired from producing video and cassette tapes and eventually CDs in the late 90s. He left an indelible mark in the history of polka music in America. His genuine love for the music was evident and was the secret of his success. As I said before, he would have been honored to receive this award, but he would have been most proud of his contribution to the lasting tradition of polka music. On behalf of my dad, Joe Cerveny, thank you for the polka, thank you to the Sokol Polka Hall of Fame and past inductees for this honor. Thank you.
Now we get down to the real interesting stuff. A couple of characters up there, it looks like. Lonnie Leo Pitts was born on August 24th, 1975 in Schuyler, Nebraska. His parents are Leo V. and the late Bernice J. Dolezal Pitts. Lonnie and his wife Kimberly live on the family farm west of Brainerd, Nebraska. Kim, would you please stand up? Oh, she left you. Kim's right back there. They have 4 children. Suzanne, 10. Wait, stand up, Suzanne. Sylvia, who is 4. There we are. Ellie, who is 3. There's Ellie. And Lane, who is 1. And where's she at? Oh, back there, she misbehaved. Huh? They are members of Assumption Catholic Church, Dwight, Nebraska, where Lonnie is a substitute organist and choir member. Also here in attendance today, ladies and gentlemen, is Lonnie's brother, Willie Pitts. Where's Willie at? There's Willie. Lonnie attended grade school and high school at East Butler Public Schools in Brainerd, Nebraska, where he was on the honor roll and a National Honor Society member and graduated in 1994. Lonnie started his musical career at the age of 8 when his dad bought him a Bundy clarinet from Dietz Music in Lincoln, Nebraska. From the 7th grade through the 12th grade, Lonnie was a member of the East Butler Public School Band, where he received all superior ones at contests on clarinet. Lonnie played his first professional job for the Ernie Kuchera Orchestra in Ord, Nebraska, when he was in the 6th grade on clarinet and alto saxophone. Needless to say, Lonnie said he was scared to death. Over the years, Lonnie has accomplished the talent of being able to play several instruments: clarinet, alto and tenor saxophone, button and piano accordion, piano, trumpet, tuba, trombone, baritone, drums, also a music arranger and recording engineer. The list of polka bands or orchestras that Lonnie has played for are, of course, Leo Lonnie Polka Band, the Studio Trio, Ernie Kuchera, Checklanders, Mark Villadol, Ed Stepanek, Bill Angel Trio, Basement 3, Kenny Shuda, Ron Naderny, Jim Botnicek, Dean Hansen Band and Trio, Little Tavern Band, Eddie Molina, Vern Bielek, Tom Slottick, Kevin Koopman's All-Star Band, Mike Brechka, Adolf Nimitz, Polka Dudes, and the out-of-state bands include Gordy Prohaska and the Little Fishermen from Minnesota, Danny Zotlatel and Czech and Them Some, and also David Zarnik, both from Texas. Also extras like the Omaha Czech Brass Band, or the American Czech Brass Band, I should say, the Clarkson Czech Brass Band, the Dwight Legion Band, and taps for the Dwight American Legion. The list of big bands or ballroom bands or orchestras, of course, the Leo Lonnie Ballroom Band, Leo Lonnie Combo, Ron Naderny, Dennis Wesley, Jimmy B, Tommy Bishop, Bobby Lane, Len Eby, Pat Mitchell, and Dave Lamb and the Jay Sterling Orchestra. Lonnie is the 4th generation to farm and own the Pitts family farm, west of Brainerd, Nebraska. Dad Leo, and by the way, Dad Leo is not here today due to health reasons. Anyway, played drums for such bands as Al Grevenick, Adolf Nimitz, and Dennis Wesley's All-Stars. Then he subbed for several other bands such as Ernie Kuchera and Kenny Shuda until 1991 when he and Lonnie formed the Leo Lonnie Orchestra and played their first dance at the Oak Ballroom in Schuyler, Nebraska. Uncle Leonard, who also farmed and played clarinet and tenor saxophone for over 40 years with Ernie Kuchera, and then joined his nephew and brother on the Leo Lonnie Orchestra. Uncle Lawrence, who played button accordion, a four-row Halavacek, bought for him by his dad, John, is now owned by Lonnie. Lawrence was the leader of the Golden Star Orchestra and gave Hall of Fame inductees Joe Prohaska and Don Kornick their first professional jobs. The Leo Lonnie Orchestra started as a polka band and later formed the Ballroom Band. Also in 2004, the Studio Trio was formed with Lonnie, Alan Moravitz, and Steve Hennish to play a variety of functions such as Tabor Check Days in South Dakota from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. with only one break. South Dakota is not the only state where Lonnie and the band has performed. Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Nebraska. There are 4 CDs and 2 videos available, of which 1 polka and 1 big band were done in 2001 by Lonnie himself, playing all the instruments. This was made possible by doing multi-track recording, which took many hours to complete. So his time was split between farming, recording, mixing, playing dance jobs, and of course, in 2001, dating his wife, Kim. Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny, would you please induct Lonnie Pitts into the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame?
Present this plaque to you for all the good things you've done in the polka industry. Continue your good work. You do a great job. And we appreciate you being here this evening. And let's give him a big hand, folks.
I don't want to drop it. Do I hold it? I wrote a speech today with my microphone adjusting. Look, all right, now. Good job, Barry. I had a time frame. They said that I need to keep my speech under 2 hours. And so I timed it last night. I'm right at 1 hour and 59 minutes, so please bear with me. We'll make this work real good. I want to thank everybody for coming today. It is so nice to see a great big hall that is full of people upstairs and downstairs. And of all the Polka of A members that are here also, and especially the Polka Hall of Fame members, and I say thank you to all of you for coming today. And how about a nice round of applause for everybody that's here. It's just great to see you all here. I especially want to say a special thank you to all of my friends that come on from Dwight, Nebraska, who rode a bus. Good to see you here, and thank you very much. I really do. They always say you're supposed to start out a nice speech with a nice little joke. Well, I tell a lot of jokes on the microphone, some I probably shouldn't. But today, it's an honor and privilege to be on this stage with Barry, who is a great accordion player. And Sonny Swoboda is an accordion player, a great accordion player, and I'm a great accordion player, sort of, but not as good as these guys because they can outplay me. And we also have Jim Boknicek up here who plays drums. And so it's nice to be up here with 3 musicians and a drummer. It's really good. I love you, Jim, you know that. Okay. I want to say thank you also to Jim Boknicek and Sonny Swoboda for all the work they do here for the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame. And to keep this going, it is a lot of work, and I know they have a lot of hours into it, so how about a nice round of applause for these guys? They deserve it, very much so. Also, I want to say special thanks to Sue Underwood and the Blue River Czechs behind me, well, their equipment's behind me, for providing some great music today. And I also want to say a big thank you to the previous inductees to the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame. I am very humbled by all of you who have voted for me. It's a great honor to be voted into a prestige organization by your peers. I never would have guessed that I would ever be considered worthy enough to be in this great bunch of musicians and supporters of polka music. I think back to all my clarinet lessons and all the practicing I did when I was younger, and I remember always practicing late at night, and I'd be practicing, and pretty soon there'd be this knock on my door, and my dad would open the door and say, "You better get to bed, you got school tomorrow." And then later on during the summer, my dad would always, we'd be eating and we'd be farming and we'd come in at noon to eat, and he'd pound on my door and say, come on, we gotta get work done, you can't be in your room all day. So I owe a lot to him on that. And I remember several occasions when Ernie Kuchera had radio broadcasts, radio show on KJSK. And he had broadcast every day from 11:30 to 12. And I remember whistling along to all the tunes, and I also remember whistling along to the clarinet parts, and my dad said, well, since you can whistle them, you better learn how to play them. And so that was kind of how I had my inspiration, and then I just kind of listened to a lot of records of Ernie Kuchera and Eddie and just try to get some great style. And so I have like 20 pages yet, so bear with me. I want to say special thanks to a lot of people here. Especially I want to say thank you to all the band leaders or musicians that have called me to play on their bands. Jim Botnichek is one. Sonny Swoboda has called me. I've always been busy when he's called me. Keep calling me, Sonny. I'll help you out. And it's kind of funny, as me being a band leader also, I know the experiences. When you get a call an hour, a half hour before the job and says, I can't make it, I'm sick. Or you get to the job and whoever's supposed to be there doesn't show up. So I'm honored to be able to play and help any band that calls me. It's a great, distinct honor to do so. I also want to say thank you to all the ballroom operators. We have a few here. We have Darlene Clement, and Ron, I think, is with her from Starlight Ballroom, and also Dwight Legion is represented here with Johnny Levitsky and Al Semi, and to all the other ballrooms that we play for. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible, and so I say thank you very much to all of you. I also want to say special thanks to Mark Villadell, right there, putting up with a lot of work he has to do on Sundays for the radio broadcasts that he does, and he does such a great job promoting Czech music. How about a nice round of applause for Mark, everybody. His patience is golden. His patience is golden. My dad, unfortunately, could not be here today, along with my Uncle Leonard, due to health reasons on both. My dad supported me from day one with this habit that I have, and it's been a distinct honor and privilege to be on the same stage as my dad and also with my Uncle Leonard. And I ask everybody to, before you close your eyes tonight on your pillow, please say a prayer for both of them, because any little prayer would help them greatly. I really appreciate that. I want to tell you about my dad, even though he's not here today, but I'm videotaping it, and Jim's also videotaping it so I can show him. My mom passed away in 1984, just 4 days before my 8th birthday, and I know she's in heaven, has never missed anything I have done, and probably has never missed the bad things that I've done either. But my dad had his handful with 3 kids at home, ages 16, 15, and 8, without a mother, and he had farming to do and take care of all of us, and we all stuck together. We stayed together as a family through all the good times and tough times. And he bought me my first instruments, and he never gave up to me, and he's the reason I've become a musician that I am today. I remember back in the fall of 1990, my dad and I were looking at the old chicken house on the farm. And my dad looked at me and said the most wonderful words a father could tell his son is, Lonnie, how about we tear the chicken house down? And you know, if you grew up on a farm, you understand, because that meant you didn't have to pitch chicken manure through this window about the size of this by this. And you didn't get your hand pecked at when you were picking eggs and all that kind of stuff. So I took my dad up on it. And we were ripping the roof off, and my dad looked at me, and I looked at him. I said, Dad, I wish I could play more. I was helping bands out, but I really wanted to play more. And my dad looked at me and says, why don't we start our own band? And I about fell off the roof. But I said, you know what, that's something that I never thought I would cherish as much as today. And the Leilani Orchestra was born, and my dad played with great bands, my Uncle Leonard played with great bands. And I remember watching my dad play and help Adolf Nimitz out in the later years, and it was just wonderful watching my dad play. And my dad had to retire. He played 16 years with the Leilani Orchestra and had to retire due to health reasons. And I can't put into words what it's like to be on stage with your father, to play in a band. It is the greatest feeling in the world to either look to your side or look to your back and your dad is there, supporting what you enjoy and also him supporting you. And like I said, I'm videotaping this today, and I wish everybody would join with me and give my dad a nice big round of applause, because I'm going to show him this. No, much appreciated. I want to thank my wife and family. Barry, don't worry, I got about half hour yet. Hold on. I want to thank my wife and family. As you can tell, my wife has her hands full. We have 4 beautiful daughters from ages 10 to 15 months. And that woman has supported me through thick and thin. We've shared a lot of laughs together. We've shared a lot of tears together. And I can't stress enough about children. And I also can't stress enough about having the feeling to see kids at a dance and seeing them have a great time. I can't stress enough to everyone that when you see a young child at a dance, either from knee-high up to 16 to 18 years old, please go up to them and tell them thank you so much for coming. And thank you for having a good time, because they're the ones that are going to keep this going. And we need to do that. I can't stress that enough. That is something, and like today, I had a nice white clean shirt before when I got here, but it got all sweated up because I was dancing with my daughters, and it's just the greatest feeling. So make sure to do that and invite them to come back. That's we need these younger people to keep this stuff going. I met my wife, who is over there taking care of her youngest, 11 years ago at the Plainmore Ballroom. She's a wonderful woman. She, I can't say enough about how hard it is for a band wife to have to keep the kids in line, keep everything going when you're playing, and I'm playing a lot more than I ever have this year. And to have her, when you're getting ready to leave the house and you hurry up and you take your shower and you put your white shirt on, and she irons my white shirt for me and all that kind of stuff. And the kids are screaming and everything else, and she looks at me and says, "Have a great time at your dance job while I'm here with the kids." So a nice round of applause for my wife, because she sacrifices so much for my family and the kids and everything, and she probably could really chew my butt a lot of times, and she bites her tongue. So, and she's very stubborn. I'm not. I listen to everything she tells me to do. I say, yes, dear, no, dear, how high, dear, how low, dear, and all that kind of stuff when she tells me to jump. So I really thank her so much. She's a sweetheart. I want to say thanks to everybody here, especially musicians, that have helped me as a band leader get to where I'm at today. Without you guys, I would not have the band or trio or groups that I would have. And I ask all those that have helped my band out, would you please stand and be recognized? I really want you to get a nice round of applause. For anybody that's helped the Leilani Orchestra, please stand. And thank you very much. Oh, I got an hour yet. Just sit down. I got 2 pages left, but now it's going to turn into 5 just for that. There's one more person I want to say thank you to, and everybody knows this last December we lost a very great musician and a good friend of mine, past Polka Hall of Fame member, Mr. Greg Troyan. He put up a courageous battle with cancer, and I swore he was going to beat it, but it ganged up on him and won. He's a great musician. His love of polka music was unbelievable, but his love of family and friends was unfathomable. He's a great piano player, button accordion player, drummer, musician. We used to share such happy times laughing, and he's the one that taught me to play button accordion on the phone. It's a lot harder than it sounds, but to play a button accordion on the phone. I think and pray of him often, and wish he was here today. And his favorite tune was always My Treasure Waltz, so I think of him every time we play it. So here's to you, Greg. We'll see you again someday. Also, I don't want to forget about the man upstairs who's given me a lot of talent to be able to share with everybody. And I would be lost without a lot of things, but prayer is a great thing. So I guess I want to close with these words. Life is such a gift. God puts us all here on earth for a special purpose. The years go by slow for some and they go fast for others, but never, ever pass up a chance to tell someone how much you care for them, or to tell your loved one that simple phrase, "I love you." For you never know when it will be your last chance to do so. So I say thank you to everybody, and so thank you so much for this great honor, and I love you all.
Barry Clay Boyce was born on August 20th, 1963 in Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were Jerry and the late Lil C.J. Boyce. Barry and his wife Sandy were married in 1985 and live in Omaha, Nebraska. Sandy, would you please stand up and take a bow? They have two children, Chad, who's 27, and who was unable to attend today because he happens to be, at this moment, in the Czech Republic on vacation. In attendance today is daughter Ashley. Also in attendance today, Barry's father, Mr. Jerry Boyce. Stand up and take it out. And as Barry puts it, his wonderful father-in-law, Ken Janik Sr. Also, his sister, Kim Boyce Werlein, is here. Where's Kim? There she is. Barry attended grade school and high school in the Millard Public Schools, graduating from Millard South High School in 1981. Barry got his first instrument in 1973 at age 10. It was a 12-bass accordion. He then began taking lessons at Swoboda Music Center, 20th and Q Street in South Omaha, from the 5th grade to his junior year in high school. Barry did not play in the school band. They wouldn't let him in with his instrument, the accordion. However, he did get to play in the 5th and 6th grade talent show and in the 7th grade music class, where everyone thought it was cool how he could play all those buttons on the left side of the accordion. While taking lessons, Barry traveled to MAMA contests, that's Mid-America Music Association, held in different states, where he received trophies for superior ratings. Barry also was awarded trophies at the Playmore Ballroom Polka Days Button Accordion Contest in Lincoln, Nebraska. In the amateur category, 2nd place in 1982, and 1st place in 1983. And then he received a 1st place professional category in 1988. Barry's first professional job was with the Czech Orchestra at the Polish Home in Omaha, Nebraska on October 20th, 1979. Since then, Barry has taken his sight reading talents to play for 25 different polka groups, and the in-state list includes Alan Balish Orchestra, Bobby Z and the Polka All-Stars, Dean Hansen Orchestra, Dick Janik Band, Duffy Bellrod Orchestra, Ernie Kachura Orchestra, German Old Time Band, Janik Family Band, Jeff Janda and the Brown Pork Orchestra, Jim Bonacek Combo and Orchestra, Jolly Yanks, Kevin Koopman Combo, Leo Lonnie Orchestra, Matt Sletke Band, Mike Brechka Orchestra, and the Ron Natterny Band. The list of out-of-state groups are as follows. the Bobby Allen Band from Iowa, Brian and the Mississippi Valley Dutchmen from Wisconsin, Coppersmiths from South Dakota, Check and Then Some from Texas, Danny Zaplatel Tribute Band Texas, and Harry Zarnick and the Texas Dutchmen from Texas, and then Carl and the Country Dutchman from Wisconsin, and the Six Fat Dutchman from Minnesota. Barry says that if any group was missed, Barry says it wasn't done intentionally. Barry grew up painting with his dad's Jerry's business, saving money for the love of his life. Now, you might all think that she's sitting out there, but it wasn't Sandy. The love of his life was a 1963 Chevy Impala two-door hardtop. He still has the car as it was the first one he owned. In a weak moment, he gave in to his son Chad and gave it to him, but the car still seems to be in Barry's garage. Barry always loved working on old cars and purchased a 1968 Camaro Rally Sport and fixed it up to mint condition before selling it in 1988. Barry loved to work and make money to spend on his cars and not girls. Then while playing on the Jim Botnicek Orchestra, he met Kenny Janik's sister Sandy. After lots of time spent with cars, he finally broke down and nudged his way into a relationship with Sandy. After 4 years of dating, they married in 1985. Of course, with any marriage, things change, and Barry doesn't get to spend money on cars like he's used to, especially after having 2 children, a house, a regular job, and traveling with the band. Barry has always been hands-on and gets into a little bit of everything with his current position as a maintenance tech for over 18 years and also remodeling his whole house. Barry's obvious love is playing polka music, and in 1989 he formed the Barry Boys Band. In all his years of playing, he has played in 17 different states: Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, Wisconsin, Wyoming, as well as Canada, and also on a cruise ship in the Western Caribbean. The band has 6 recordings, 5 CDs. There's No Time Like Old Time, It's Music to Your Ears, This Is the Life, Old Time Festivals, Oktoberfest, Yeah, It's Party Time, and 1 DVD, Barry Boyce Live at Starlight Ballroom for the Molly B Polka Party. With the amount of dates that Barry books every year, he has had over 50 different musicians play and travel with his band since 1989. Sonny, would you induct Mr. Barry Boyce into the Sokolova Polka Hall of Fame?
Barry and I go back a long time. He mentioned, Jim mentioned that his first job was October of 1979. Well, I was on that Jim Botnicek band when Jim started, and I got to the point where I couldn't go traveling with the band, so I decided to quit. And in the wings was a very nervous Barry Boyce. But I'll tell you what, this guy has really done a job with that music, and he gets not only the young ones, but he gets the older ones and the ones in between. He knows how to keep the rhythm going. Do you all agree to that? Yeah. This guy does it all. Barry, I know your mom would be proud of you. I know if she could be here. I want to present this with for all the things you've done over the years, and I hope you continue to do the good work. You're a fantastic musician. You bet.
Thank you, Jim and Sonny. I was down there too long, I think, before they had this induction, because don't I look good? I've been hearing that from all you. I think I look pretty good. I'd rather be wearing my shorts up here, but I'm not. Hold on. I'm not very good at public speaking. Takes me a while to form a thought, so wrote a few notes down here, so you thought you had a lot of time. Now, I'd like to thank Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame. Give them a big round of applause for keeping this going every year. Also, thanks to the many musicians who are the past inductees into the Polka Hall of Fame. Give them a big round of applause. Now we'll get into the family. And it all starts with Sandy. Isn't she beautiful tonight? I told Sandy she had to have a speech prepared so she can come up here. If you want to come up here, Sandy, and say a few words, come on up. I don't know why she doesn't want to talk now. She does a lot of talking at home. Come on up here, Sandy. Come here. Oh, you have to come up here. This time you have to listen to me. Come here. Come on, sweetie. You know, Sandy is the brunt of all my jokes, usually, when we're at all the gigs and stuff, and people are looking at her like, did you hear just what he said there? And she says, that's nothing. I don't even listen to him anymore. Anyway, as Lonnie said, you know, through the years, our band wives, that's what we call them, they put up with a lot. We're gone on the road a lot, out playing gigs, having fun. But I've been blessed to have Sandy go to a lot of our gigs. She loves the music, and it's not all just a gravy out there, but we have our times. We have a lot of gigs, so we have our times, but she loves the music, and she goes to a lot of them, unless they're private and we don't know the people, but so that's good to have her along, because the other band wives sit at home, and they're wondering what their husbands are having fun doing, but mine's right there watching me. So hold on a second, Sandy. You want to say something? Yes, now she's speechless. Thank you for all the years that you've helped me through all this music business. Thanks, Sandy. I know we both have to work tomorrow, but breakfast tomorrow morning. All right. See, I know people don't hear that side of me ever, and obviously Sandy doesn't either. She doesn't get flowers very often, but I figured, you know, it's worth it right now, that's for sure, through all those years. Thank you, Sandy. Well, that should take me about 10 years. I love that. Also, Chad Boyce, like Jim said, he's over in Europe. He went to Poland with Tom Jadlowski and the group over there, and that group came back yesterday. So he was in Poland.
He's right here. He's on the phone.
Oh, Chad's up there on the phone. He's on FaceTime right now. Chad and Sarah, give him a big round of applause up there. he gets to see the whole thing since he couldn't make it. But they're in the Czech Republic right now, and we're going to visit a few other places yet. So Chad is our current drummer. Although this year he works at OPPD in Fort Calhoun, so they're trying to get that thing up and going, and has a lot of time down there. So he's been missing a lot of gigs. I've had a lot of great musicians help us out, so thank you very much for that. Also, Ashley, yeah, my darling Ashley is down there. Yeah, let's give her a big round of applause. She is our clarinet player. She loves to play. Well, she says she doesn't, but no, we love her help on the band, you know, play a few songs for us and stuff, and she's a great dancer. The kids from day one, we took them to the dances, like Lonnie says, you got to take them out. If you keep them at home, they're not going to know what to do, even expect what polka music is, and that's great to see the kids when you bring them out. And we've done that with our kids from day one, so thank you, Ashley. And we've got Sarah, Chad's wife, so Sarah's over in the Czech Republic right now too, so. And also KJ Harnack is our tuba player. He couldn't make it today because he's over in Tahoe. I think he's breathing in some of that smoke from the fires over there, but he's on a bike ride, so I hope he gets a little wind of some smoke from this way. He's not here, but no, he's on a bike ride for a benefit for Hy-Vee, so he couldn't make it. Also want to send this out to my mom and dad. From day one, they loved polka music and still do. My mom, happy birthday today. She would have loved this moment right here. Miss her a lot. Also, Ken Yannock is here. And my mother, Marge, who passed away too, she just thrives on things like this. So we love you guys. And as we said, we miss a lot of functions when we're in the band business. You can't make everything you wish you could. We do miss a lot of things, and I'm sorry for the family that we do miss those. You know, we'd love to be there because, man, do I have a party family. I just wanted to say it all started right here in the Sokol Auditorium. As a kid, my brother and I would be running around the hall. I don't know if we were on the dance floor as much, maybe we were, I don't remember, but I remember being up there. We loved going up there. They always had bingo here, so we would look for those bingo chips. And if you remember enough that they had a bowling alley downstairs, we'd go down there and bowl, you know, on occasion. But we loved those little bingo chips because they had a gum machine down there, and we loved buying gum with those little chips. I don't know how many vendors came in here and seen how many chips were in those gum machines, but where'd you get that from? Oh, some guy gave us a penny and we got some gum. We were good kids. Oh yeah, one night my mom and dad, what we knew when they went to the dance, so we really had a good time at home, throwing the couch cushions all over and fighting and everything, and they'd come home and we were angels. Anyway, they came home one time and asked if I wanted to learn how to play accordion. I said, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll try it anyway. Anyway, my aunt and uncle Dennis and Luella Pavlik, their son, didn't want to carry on taking lessons or playing accordion, so I took that. We got that little 12-bass accordion, and I started taking lessons at the age of 10 at Swoboda's Music Center. And at the age of 10, a kid doesn't like to just go practice his accordion, but I had to practice a half hour every day while all the other kids were outside playing and stuff, so that was the roughest part. But I think it's paid off in the end. You know, I love the music, and I'm fortunate to still be playing the music, that's for sure. Fred Lees was my teacher at Swoboda's. He now lives in North Las Vegas, and I talked to him this last week. I haven't talked to him probably for, I don't know, it could be 30 years or what. I knew he was in Vegas, but haven't talked to him, so I did talk to him, and it was nice to talk to him and his wife. He's the one that gave me what I've got. It was tough practicing. The songs he gave me would be some, you know, mostly polkas and waltzes, and then some modern music. And I had a hard time with the modern music, but give me a polka and I would play it. In a week's time, I'd take it back and I could play that. I don't know, the tempo there. I couldn't get the other stuff as well. So it was fun. You could tell when I didn't do very good on our chart, the pencil lead got really heavy on that chart. And he got kind of ticked with me many a times. But that's because I didn't want to practice. But both Dick Janik and Jim Bogdachek, one the accordion player, and they came to my lessons, actually. I think you did too, didn't you, Jim? Did you come to my lessons? That's what it is? You didn't come? Well, Dick Janik was there. Why wasn't you? Oh, you took my mom and dad's advice, yeah. Well, anyway, Dick would come to the lessons and he'd listen outside the door to see how I was doing because he wanted to have an accordion player on his band. Well, Jim evidently took my mom and dad's advice and said I wanted to learn, or, was good enough to play on a band, but, I love to play, but I would take that music home and I could play it at home, but you get in the environment where the tempo is there on a bandstand, it was a lot different, yeah. Oh, let's see, where am I at here? I was inspired to play music by the accordion styles of Dean Hansen and also Greg Troyan. Listened to a lot of records of those guys back then, and it was great to hear them. Greg actually sat through some practice sessions when I played with Jim Bogdachek. They'd bring me over to the house and the whole band, and I'm sure the whole band was saying, why do we have to practice? It's some accordion player here, but Greg sat through those, and I'm sure he was shaking his head thinking, he is not going to make it. But anyway, my first real gig was, like he said, at the Polish Home. I was scheduled to play accordion for that job, but I had Mr. Kenny Anok on lead sax. He was playing most of my accordion solos. As the solos would go by so fast, I missed every one of them. And Millie Yannock, she was rubbing my shoulders. She was wondering why my shoulders were so stiff at the time, but I got past that. I remember Pete Yannock saying, I heard the stories of him going to Jim's house or calling him up saying, this kid isn't going to make it, we've tried and he's not going to make it. The last thing I remember of Pete, though, we were over playing at the Nashville Club in Council Bluffs, and he came up to me and he goes, kid, he said at first, he said it was tough, he says, but he says, you're doing good. I played for Jim for 10 years. I started in 1980. The latter part of 79, I played the gig with him. Had a lot of great times with Jim's band. Obviously with Kenny and all the other members of the band, we always had a great time, had fun at the gigs. Jim always had young musicians on the band, and we just had a blast getting after Jim. One of the stories I guess I'll tell is over there in Iowa. I can't remember, was it Trainer or Macedonia, somewhere anyway. We get to the back of this Quonset hut style building over there, and the weeds are probably about this tall, and here's Jim backing it up, getting through all the weeds. So during the gig, we were out there break time, and I saw this concrete block, a cinder block, and I thought, oh, this would be fun to just put it underneath the tire. Then I thought, well, there's another one. I'll put it in back, one in back and one in the front of the tire, so he'd feel a little resistance. Anyway, Jim gets in the van after we're all packed up after the gig, and Jim puts it in gear, and he's trying to, thing ain't going nowhere. What the? We get out at that time, and he couldn't get over this block or whatever, so we get out, and at this time I'm thinking I'm going to take those blocks out of the tire, But with the weeds that high, I couldn't find the blocks. He buried them with the tires, so we figured, Jim goes, get in. So I get in the vehicle, and he just guns it, and he goes romping up over those concrete blocks, and then here come the trailer over those concrete blocks. But that was one of the stories. I know there's many stories, Jim. Yeah, thank you for letting us do that stuff to you, because you had no choice. Started in the winter of '89 with Jim, or was that '89? Yeah. '79. Then '89 I started my own. I left Jim in 1980 to give her hell in the polka field. Jim was going to go mostly ballroom, and I love to play old time, obviously playing accordion. Love to play old time, so I defected and I left the band at that time, and it was probably good for Jim and good for me too, because he got a heck of a lot better piano player, because I was never really a piano player. Every time I come to the gig, I would practice, I'd lay down on the piano bench trying to play the thing. Then he told me to sit up. Anyway, I'm not a very good piano player, but he got a good one, and he's got a great Jimmy B orchestra. Give him a big round of applause for that orchestra now today. I still help Jim on occasion whenever he calls. If we're not booked with the group, I'll help him out anytime. Thanks for the start, Jim. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And thank you, Sonny, for making room for me. Thanks. I'd like to thank Kenny Janik out there. He wrote a lot of music, and he had his grandpa's music. Still to this day, I have Kenny's combo music, and I'm grateful that Kenny let me use that music. And I wrote a lot of music in between time too that I use nowadays, but I still resort back to some of those old Czech tunes that are in that book. So thank you very much, Kenny, for letting me get started with that. Lots of music from, yeah, only on page 2, Lonnie. Somebody get this guy a beer. And me too. Oh yeah. We had a good amount of gigs when I first started the band, but we didn't have as many as that we do today. Oktoberfest started around here. German American was actually the only Oktoberfest around, and now everyone wants to have an Oktoberfest. So Oktoberfest for our band started in Bellevue at Edelweiss. After much success for them, they later closed and others picked up from there for us. The Crescent Moon Huberhaus started having us a week after Edelweiss, and we played for theirs. And then when Edelweiss closed, Crescent Moon and the Huberhaus took us on that weekend, and it's been that way ever since. In the early 90s, it's hard getting into the German American. We played there for some occasional German, for dinner dances, and then into the South Hall for German Day and Oktoberfest celebrations, and we've been playing there ever since for them. And there's a big group tonight here from the German American Society. Thank you very much for coming out. And they'll sign you up if you want to sign up. They've got some cards out there. It gets you signed up for the German American. There's some highlights of the band. One of them is Chad and Ashley playing on the band, obviously. As Jim knows, through the years, you want to put your kids out there and have them play in the band and stuff. I've been fortunate that way, that Chad he sat on Jim's lap for years playing drums, and I don't know how he got his thunder foot, but because his foot never reached the bottom, as big a lap as that is, so. But Chad's got the great beat with the band, and also Ashley playing clarinet. The bus tours to other states are always a great time, taking people to see different things out there. We love when you come along. Let us know if you ever want to go on the bus tours. We'd love to have you. Another highlight is me catching 2 monster walleye in front of Mike Tritz this last week, so... Oh, that has nothing to do with the band, sorry. But I still got to rub it in. I got 2 fish that are going to be on my wall in my basement here next year when I get them back. Went to the taxidermy, yeah. Anyway, we went on a Western Caribbean cruise also. Meeting and making friends with all the polka musicians and dancers from all over. I think and I believe our band has played in more states than any band here in Nebraska. And it's all by word of mouth. Our website does us good, and the festivals we play gets us repeat business around. I'm fortunate that I don't have to go out there and beat the bricks that way, but it is a lot of work when you come home from work to get on the computer and you're answering emails and try to line up the schedule and musicians. With only a 3-piece band, these guys have done it for years with big bands, and I can't even imagine it's enough with just 3. It's not like it used to be either, though. When you book bands, you have to play. you have to play in a lot of different states to get some bookings. You know, for a polka band, you know, it's not as good as it used to be playing polkas, but it hasn't dropped off for us. It's gotten bigger, and it's been great. And it's all because of you people, because we wouldn't be playing anywhere without you. That's for sure. I've always said that. Should have had something to go down through this, right? How many more? I better wrap it up. Well, let's see. I'd like to thank all the musicians that's played for us through all the years on our band. Once again, as the people that come to the dances, it wouldn't be possible without you. Obviously, I can play an accordion, I can go out and play solo, but I always book the band first before I do any solo work. So I always try to push the band first. Thanks for all the drummers, all the tuba players through the years. Thank you very much, guys. In closing, the Polka Hall of Fame from the start, we've booked our engagements as a polka band and nothing else. I believe that I'm going to keep on pushing polkas as long as we get booked, and that's what the Polka Hall of Fame is all about. And I love the music, and I hope you do too. Thanks for having us. Thank you for inducting me into the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame. Polka on. Yeah.
Well, that concludes it this evening, folks. Did y'all have a good time? Don't forget, next year, same time, same place. Just a little different date, but we'll have the same time. And I'd like to see you all back down here. This state is not only known for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, we got a lot of good talent in this state. And I'm a board member of the PAC, to a Polka Merit Corporation, and each year we recognize individuals that have promoted or helped with the polka music over the years. And for the last 3 years, I've nominated individuals, and fortunately, they have won what we call the Frankie Award, which is indicative of Frankie Yankovic, the Polka King. And 2 years ago was Bustas Joe. Last year was Mr. Mark Villadal. And this year was Mr. Ron Natterny. So Mark and Ron, will you stand up and let's give these two guys a big hand. They do a lot for polka music. And I concur with what Lonnie said. Today's Grandparents' Day. And by golly, if you got a grandchild or you can bring a grandchild to a dance, let's do it, because if we don't have those kids bring this music along, we're going to lose it. So keep that in mind when you go to a dance. Take your grandkids along, and we'll have them out on the dance floor. Hopefully we can keep this going for many years to come. Once again, thank you, and you guys stick around. We're going to have music, soon the Blue River Chicks. So let's get started, and everybody have a good time. Thank you.